Hello and welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel, guys, and what was always going to be a very, very emotional day. Lionel Messi said goodbye to the club of his life, the club that he loves, and today he could not hold back the emotion. It was certainly a difficult hour or so for all of us watching. Messi answered a range of questions as he explained his exit, his feelings throughout. He maintained that he never wanted to leave this club, but the only shred of positivity that I can take from all this is that Messi promised us fans that he will return to this club at some stage. But let's now get to those quotes. Because indeed, as Lionel Messi stepped out there for his farewell press conference, immediately he was in tears. And I think straight away you sort of understood there the emotion that was going to be on show in the audience. You had his family there, of course his wife, his children, they were all watching on as their father stepped up there basically and tried to address the waiting world. But it was difficult. He had all the trophies next to him that he'd won at Barça. He had his teammates watching on, the president, he had journalists there as well. And quite clearly Messi was struggling for words. He was struggling there to contain himself and sort of understand the gravity of this entire situation. Messi eventually started by saying, "The truth is, I don't know what to say." He said, "Recently, I've been thinking a lot about this moment. The truth is that I can't think of anything." He was completely lost for words, lost. He couldn't quite express how he was really feeling. He said, "This is really difficult for me after so many years." He said, "I'm not ready for this. Leo, we're not ready either." He said, honestly, last year, with all the nonsense, with the bureaucrats and all the stuff that went on last summer, he said, "I was convinced then that I knew what I wanted to say. In this moment, I knew what would happen." He said, "But now, it's not the same." He said, "1 year on, myself, my family, we truly believed that we were going to be staying here." He said, "Today, I've got to say goodbye." He said, "I spent my life here. I came when I was 13. I've spent 21 years at this club." He said, "I'm leaving today with my wife, with my 3 little Catalan Argentine kids." He said, "I can't say that in a few years, though, we won't come back." He said, "This is our home now." And he said, "I hope that I could come back." And he said that in some moment, in some capacity, I'd hope that I could come back to this club in any way that's possible. Messi said, "I cannot thank the club enough." He said, "I will always have so much respect for this club. There are so many people that I would like to thank." He said, "I've lived so many amazing moments at this club." He said, "Some of them bad too, but he said, it's made me the person that I am here today." He said, "I gave everything for this shirt from the first day that I arrived to the very last." He said, "I'm so grateful for the care that the people have shown me, for the response of the fans." He said, "I wish it could have been in a different way." He said, "I never imagined that it could be like this." He said, "I imagined the farewell, out on the pitch with cheers from the stands." He said, "And after playing without the fans due to COVID for the past year," he said, "I now leave without experiencing the fans again." He said, "I imagined the Camp Nou being full and being able to say goodbye properly." And that, for me, is something that actually leaves the biggest bad taste of all this. Yes, Messi leaving, it's heartbreaking. It's unthinkable to imagine Barca without Messi, but it's not necessarily the end. It's the ending. Today, we see Messi breaking down in tears and leaving in a press conference. That's not the way it should have been. That stadium there should have been full of people chanting his name, paying homage to his entire career. But sadly, it's just not possible, much like his renewal. So after that opening speech from Messi, he was then given a full standing ovation by everybody watching on in the audience. Like I say, it wasn't exactly a full stadium at the Camp Nou, but still it was emotional there. Everybody watching on, looking at Messi, and you could see again the emotion pouring out of him, and the fact that genuinely here, he's so sad that he's got to go. He does not want to leave this club. He did not want it to end in this way. And again, Messi there had to prepare himself. He had to sort of gather his thoughts again to take questions from the journalist. The first question that he was asked, "What is your best moment in a Barca shirt?" He said, "It's really difficult to actually pick out one." He said, "I've experienced a lot of things here, but maybe when I made my debut," he said, "maybe that would be the moment that really springs to mind. That was a dream come true." He said everything that came later, of course, was amazing, but he said, "I think I'll always remember that moment where everything started from that debut." Messi was then asked promptly, of course, from the journalist exactly what happened right up there until the final moments. That renewal seemed to be going smoothly, and now suddenly everything is unravelled. What on earth happened? Messi said the renewal was all done. It was going to be completed. Everything was prepared. He said, just like Laporta explained, but he said then, due to the La Liga issue, it couldn't be done. He said it just couldn't be done. I did everything possible to stay. Last year again, he said, I didn't want to stay, and I said it then. I was honest. I said that I didn't want to be here, but this year, I wanted to stay. Clearly, Messi wanted to stay now, but he said I couldn't. And it couldn't be done. Messi was then asked again about the emotion that he's feeling right now. What are you feeling in this moment? How does it feel to be leaving the club of your life? Messi said, I still haven't come to terms with the reality. He said, my life is going to change completely. It's going to be very, very different now from what I'm used to. He said it's going to be a difficult change for myself, for my family as well. He said, because again, we thought we were staying here. We thought we were going to be here this season. We didn't know everything was going to change. He said, but I know we're going to be okay. And of course, in the end, we will need to accept it. Messi was then asked whether this indeed was the most difficult moment of his career, and Messi was very, very clear. He said, yeah. He said, without a doubt. He said, it's not even up for debate. He said, this is clearly the most difficult moment of my career. He said, of course, in the past, I've had difficult moments, I've had defeats, but he said the other day, not returning to training with my teammates, knowing that I'm not going to be going back, that I'm never going to be going back there into that training, knowing that it's the end. He said, yeah, this is the most difficult moment by far. It was interesting then because Messi was asked directly about Bartomeu, about the fact that he may be frustrated because obviously everything we went through, that it was sort of stemming from him, that's now led to this entire situation, certainly financially for Barcelona. Messi wouldn't be drawn necessarily on Bartomeu, but he said, I'm very sad because I didn't want to leave the club that I love. He said, it's a moment that I didn't expect. He said, I've always been honest. Last year again, making very clear that he wanted to leave, that he wanted out when Bartomeu was there. This year, he said, I didn't. That is why I'm so sad. That's why it hurts so much, because this year, I wanted to stay, and we thought that it was going to be very possible. Messi was then asked, indeed, what will Barca be like without you? It is unthinkable for many of us fans, but what does he feel that Barca will be like without him out on the field? Messi said, well, Barca is one of the best teams in the world. He said it's got an amazing team. They've got amazing players. And he said, in the future, more players are going to come. He said, players come and go. That's football. He said, just like Laporta said, the club is more important than one person. He said, in the end, people will get used to it. He said, maybe at first it'll be a bit weird. He said, of course, it's going to seem very, very strange. But he said, in the end, they will get over it. Again, then, the journalist, very interested to know exactly how this sort of breakdown happened. Messi was asked there, do you believe the fans were given false hope with regard to your renewal? But Messi played that down. He said, no, I don't think that the fans were given false hope. He said, we were all pretty clear that I was going to continue. He said it was that clear that everything was prepared. Everything was, there and ready to be done. He said, we were always honest with people. He said, it wasn't what we planned, of course, but we never tried to trick anyone. And Messi was then asked, interestingly, okay, do you feel tricked then? Do you feel as though maybe things were happening and you were led down a different path? He said, no. Again, Messi flat out denying that. He said, everyone has done everything possible. He said, I've always been honest with the fans, the socios. I've always been transparent. He said, the problem is, though, when you don't speak, if you're like me and you don't speak that often, he said, then people start to talk. Many things start to come out that are not true. He said, that's why I wanted to speak today. He said, we all did everything possible to stay. Messi was then asked about Javier Tebas. What would you say to him if he was standing here today, given the fact that it is La Liga that's stopping Messi from continuing at the club? Messi, of course, diplomatic as always. He said, I don't know. He said, because of La Liga, because of the good of the club, Barca couldn't accept what they are offering. He said, I only met Javier Tebas a few times. He said, when we have met, we spoke a little bit, but he said, I don't really have any problem personally with Tebas. And Messi was asked then about his emotion, particularly the first instance where he found out, the first time that he was really told that, you know what, it's not going to be possible. You can't continue at the club of your life. Messi said, my blood ran cold. He said, even now, I'm still trying to process it. I'm still trying to understand what's happened. And he said, when I go home, I'm still going to feel bad about it. He said, probably I'm going to feel even worse because it's over. And he said, it's going to be difficult, but at least I can keep playing football. At least I can continue on with my career. He said, that's something, of course, that I love doing. And then, of course, he was asked the inevitable questions. Where are you going? Is it going to be Paris Saint-Germain, where you're going to be playing your football in the future? Messi was honest. He said, honestly, PSG, yes, is a possibility. He said, but right now we don't have anything fully confirmed. He said, I did have a lot of interest from clubs once Barca released the press release. He said, we are talking right now about a lot of things. And he was then asked about the photo, of course, with the Paris Saint-Germain players when he was recently on holiday in Ibiza. Was that photo just a coincidence? Maybe were things brewing back then? But Messi said, you know what, it is just a coincidence. He said it was completely a coincidence. He said, I met them them on holiday in Ibiza. We were just together one day, we're friends, it was just a photo. He said it was actually a joke at the time. They were all saying, come to Paris, join me in Paris. But at the time, he said, it was only a joke. A journalist then said to Messi that, if you join PSG, it will be a direct rival, effectively, of Barca, particularly in the Champions League. You could come up against Barca. How would that feel to you? He said, the people in Barcelona know me. He said, I will fight to win everything. These are the last years of my career. He said, of course, I want to end it on a high. He also took a moment there quite a few times to reference Dani Alves. He said, I want to take this moment here to congratulate Dani Alves, who I'm very, very close to, who won gold, of course, with Brazil yesterday. And another journalist there asking Messi, why is it over now? The window is not done. We're not at the end of the transfer window. Why couldn't this go on longer? Why couldn't we try and look for some sort of solution? Why does it have to end now? The journalist almost pleading with Messi in a way. But Messi said, well, like the president explained, the club has a big, big debt. It's got huge debt there. And to keep drawing it out, to sort of keep dragging things out, he said it would have just made it even more complicated, even more difficult. He said, because I too need to focus on my career, what my future plans are going to be. So that really is why we couldn't do that. Messi was asked then, do you have any regrets? Do you have, in terms of your playing career, anything you would have liked to have done? Messi said, I would have liked to have won another Champions League. He said, I feel like we could have got one more. He said, one more is sort of what I was looking for there in my career at Barca. He said, we have been eliminated in semi-finals over the years. He mentioned about Liverpool. He mentioned, of course, as well, going out to Chelsea under Pep Guardiola. He said, we've been really, really close. But he said, that's football. That can happen. I don't regret anything. And I'm ending my career here, he said, with a good amount of titles. And I think certainly good is the understatement of the century. Finally, though, Messi was asked there about the negotiations with the club, and particularly there a rumour that has arisen over the past few days. Apparently there it was rumoured in the Catalan media that Barca had not only asked Messi there for a 50% pay cut, but in the final moments there of that renewal, there had been reports that Barca wanted Messi to take another 30%. But again, Messi completely flat out denied these baseless rumours. He said, I offered to reduce my salary by 50% to halve it there, and he said that was all fine. He said the club never asked me for anything else. He said we did everything possible, and again he said, a lot of things that people are saying, a lot of things that you will read are simply not true. And I think actually, guys, the very worst part about this entire press conference, this whole farewell from Lionel Messi, of course, it was very emotional right throughout. Every time that Messi broke down in tears, and you wanted to do it with him too. I know many of us probably did. But I think actually the worst moment for me was the ending. Because after the final question that came into Messi, that was it. That was it. It was done. It was just over. They cut the tape. That was it. Messi's entire career at Barca, all of those years, all of those memories, the highs, the lows, experiencing everything with a man who we've looked up to our entire footballing lives. And that was it. It was just over. Done. And it just leaves a big, big void there, a big blank space that you just don't know how to fill. It hurts. We still haven't really come to terms with what it means emotionally, what it means at a sporting level, but certainly here today, to see Messi saying goodbye, I expected it in a few years' time. We knew this day would come, but for it to happen like this, for Messi to be out there without fans, without a stadium chanting his name, football can be very, very cruel. So that there, guys, is the full reaction to everything Lionel Messi had to say in his farewell press conference. Honestly, this was not an easy video to make, and I hope you guys are doing okay, and certainly emotionally, I hope you're dealing with all of this in whatever way that you can. Please leave all your thoughts, and particularly all of your tributes, in the comments down below. Of course, we're going to have more things coming up, thanking Leo, and all of that kind of stuff on the channel, but right now, we are focusing on the news side of things, and we would expect that that move to PSG from Messi would be announced soon. But today, it's all about his time at Barca, which now, the incredible story and the record-breaking book, it closes here. And he will never be forgotten at this club. I will see you soon, guys, and I thank you very much indeed for watching here today. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.